All right, are we on?
We're on.
We're on. We're on. We're on. The question is if other people are on. Are they on?
They might be off.
They might be. That sounds off. All right.
I mean, if you're not on, you're off.
Why? Everything is black and white, either on or off. It can't be like half on.
I mean, what's between off and on?
In between. No. Anyways, good. All right. We are back to some spooky stuff today, where we're dealing with demonic energies and powers from the Talmudic perspective of Pesachim, Tractate Pesachim in the Talmud, page 111b. Sorry, 110b. Sorry, yeah, 110b. Now, yesterday we said all about this concept of pairs. How if you drink in pairs, which means in an even number, it could make you susceptible to demonic. How should I say it? Possession. Yeah. We also said that the demons, even though they do have powers to attack based on pairs, there's also the concept of witchcraft that's in some cases has more power, because the demons could only attack the number 2 and only the number 2 really, because once you hit the number 3, at least for Israel, for the Jewish people, because we were blessed with a blessing of three words, right? If anybody knows the priestly blessing, Yevarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha is 3 words. And so therefore, the number 3 already protects us from the demonic presence. However, the witchcraft could attack even harder, even higher numbers, etc. We also pointed out that if you're not particular on pairs, the demons won't be very particular on you either. Whereas if you are particular on pairs, if it makes a difference to you, a big deal, if you make a big deal out of pairs, then anytime you mess up and don't do it or do it in pairs, right, when you shouldn't, they are more likely to attack you.
Meaning
all right?
It only affects you if you acknowledge it.
What's that? It didn't say it only. It says those that are particular about pairs, the demons are particular with them. However, the Gamara concludes that you should be careful in general, meaning just be careful of pairs. Try your best not to do pairs, but don't be so crazy about it, because if you're crazy about it, then the one time that you miss, they'll get you, right? However, if you're not so crazy about it, you're just, okay, whatever, you'll try your best not to do pairs, right? Then you're less likely to get attacked, even if you for some reason hit the concept of pairs. All right? Yeah.
So if you can choose to be machmer and zugos, right? Whether or not you want to be machmer, if you're gonna engage, but if you choose to be machmer, it opens you up to the potential risk of if you mess it up, right? Whereas if you're not
correct.
Machmer,
if you're particular about pairs, right? You better make sure never to have pairs, right?
Right. So what's the advantage of opening up the gateway to zugos in any form? Like,
I don't know what you mean.
To be machmer. If there's
Well, that's exactly what the Gemara says you shouldn't do. Don't do it. Don't do it. Of course, you might have some superstitious people that are really nervous about this and will, who knows what. What's so funny?
He ducked into
You ducked into my screen?
Yeah, but it was ducking under the camera, but I guess it wasn't. I can see
You ducked into the camera?
some.
You snuck onto my show? What do they call it when the guy bombed it? What do they call it? Bombed? You picture bombed? Photobombed. You photobombed my class. All right. No. Anyways, so that's where we ended off yesterday. Today we're going to continue a little bit on this idea of pairs and being careful not to get attacked by the demons and the witchcrafts. All right? Good. We're going to tell you a story. Ki asar Rav Dimi, when Rav Dimi came, where did he come from? I don't know, because it doesn't say. There are commentators that point out here that he came from Israel to Babylonia. Okay, usually when it says he came from where? From Israel. Because in at least in the time of the Talmudic era, there were really only two places that Jews lived in mass, which was Israel and Babylonia. There were other places that Jews lived, but they were usually smaller areas. Therefore, if it just said he came, it means he came from Israel, meaning the Babylonians are saying that he came from Israel. All right? So when Rav Dimi came from Israel, Omar, he said as follows: Shtei beitzim, 2 eggs, v'shtei egoizim, and 2 nuts, shtei kishuim, 2 squash, v'davar acher, and something else. Halacha l'Moshe Sinai, we have a tradition all the way from the time of Moses on Sinai, that these concepts are susceptible to zugos, which means there are four things that you must be very careful about zugos. 1 is eggs, 2 nuts, 3 squash, and 4 davar acher, which is something else. Yeah? What does it mean, something else? We don't know. We don't know. In other words, Rav Dimi, when he came from Israel, he reported that they had a tradition that went all the way back to Moses in the time of Mount Sinai, that there are 4 things that you got to be careful about pairs, because those 4 things are what demons can attack you using those pairs, right? And those are the 4. Well, 3 of them we mentioned. The 4th one, he said something else. In other words, they didn't know what that something else is. They knew that there was one more thing, but they didn't know what it was. Again, they had a tradition that there's 4 things. They knew what 3 of them was. They didn't know what the 4th one was. And the rabbis had a doubt. They weren't sure. What is this other thing that was mentioned? They didn't know what it was. And therefore they made a decree. There was a rabbinic decree that we should worry about pairs on everything, right? Mishum davar acher, because of this other thing that we don't know what it is. Understand? Again, there's 4 things that we learned all the way from the time of Moses, that these things will make a person susceptible to demonic possession or attack, demonic attack, I think better, right? 4 things. We know 3 of them: eggs, nuts, squash, which means never eat 2 eggs, never eat 2 squash, never eat 2 nuts, right? Because those things can make a person susceptible to demonic forces, right? However, they also mentioned that there was one more thing. There was one more thing, but they didn't know what it was. And because of that, they told you, be careful on pairs on everything.
What's the purpose of
Huh? What do you mean? The purpose of what?
not being told?
Not being told what? I don't know what you're talking about. Again, Moses did tell them the 4th thing. The problem is that over the years, it got lost. That tradition got lost. The tradition was that there were 4 things, and these were the 4 things. But at one point in time, from one rabbi to one teacher, for some reason, one of the items got lost. And therefore, we have to be careful. By the way, till today, people are very careful not to boil eggs in odd numbers, in even numbers, only in odd numbers, because of zugos, because of pairs. Yeah?
But why? But then why do we hold? It says that we hold about everything now, also.
Now what?
To make sure that something else.
Correct.
That makes
What?
sense. Why would we hold that for everything?
Because we don't know what the other thing was. And maybe the thing that you are doing pairs is that one thing, and then you get attacked by demons, and then you're wondering what happened.
Or you just say, like, you just cancel it out. If you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is.
Oh, you want to get attacked by you know. I know that there's some danger out there that exists in Sfas. I'm not sure where it is, when it is, and how it is, and it could kill a person, right? But
still walk around.
huh?
You would still walk around.
If you knew that you were entering an area of danger, you'd stay away.
Yeah, but if it's the whole.
If you have to walk around, okay,
If
fine.
it's the whole spot.
Yeah, but again, it's pairs, so don't do pairs. What do you need to do pairs? It's such a big necessity. The rabbis felt it's not such a big necessity to do pairs, so it's not such a big deal.
Demon,
Huh?
if you're trying to hire a demon, you might want to do pairs, like King Shlomo, but nobody should
No,
do
on the
that.
contrary. On the contrary, if you were trying to hire a demon, you would try to make whoever you're hiring him against, you want to have him do the pairs. Again, because when the person that does the pairs becomes susceptible to demonic attack,
House Shalom, we don't want anyone to do that.
right?
Yeah.
So if you are involved in pairs, then you become susceptible to the demonic attack, right? So you obviously don't want to do pairs, even if you're trying to summon the demons for something else. All right, good. Anyways, let's continue. Where are we? Oh, so that is why we're careful of pairs, because there's something out there that we don't know what it is that could possibly attack you using pairs. So therefore, be careful not to do pairs. All right, that's the end of that particular piece of the Talmud. Now let's go to a little bit further. V'hoda Moran. Now we're going back to the question. Yeah, we said we said already that 10, 8, 6, 4 doesn't have the ability to be used as pairs. That whole concept is only in reference to demons. Demons can only attack you for the number 2. They can't attack you from the number 3 and up. They can't attack you, right? But in regard to witchcraft, if a witch wants to get a hold of you, you got to worry even about larger ones, because even larger numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 18. Yeah, I got it. 14. I missed 14. Yeah. All these numbers can make you susceptible to a witch's attack. Do you want to get attacked by a witch? You do? Okay, so do pairs and then see what happens. Well, first of all, you have to find a witch. I don't know how many witches there are today. I've heard that they do exist out there. If anybody's a witch from online, I don't think anybody here is, but if you're a witch, let us know, right? But I've heard that there are witches out there. A witch hunt, yeah. They hunt the witches, or the witches are hunting? Which one? What's up?
No, we
Is
should
again,
find out who they are.
when they say a witch hunt, are they saying that the witches are hunting, or are they saying that we're hunting the witches?
I think we were hunting the witches.
We're hunting the witches?
We should find out who they are.
Huh? Stand?
You stand out like that. Stand outside the house with the trodent. What is
Yeah.
that?
What?
Pitchfork?
Pitchfork? Why? What does that do? What does that do? What does that do?
I don't know. You just
Oh, we'll leave them alone if they leave us alone.
Yeah.
According to the Torah, if they're Jewish and the Torah has power, meaning if the rabbinical powers at B had powers, we would have to kill if they're Jewish. If they're not Jewish, by the way, it's not part of the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nei Noach. A non-Jew is 100% permitted to do witchcraft. Believe it or not, yeah, doesn't say it anywhere. As long as they don't use it as some form of worship. They're not worshiping these demons or whatever it is that they're doing. They're just summoning them and asking them to do things on their behalf. It's actually not prohibited for Gentiles. Only Jews. Because again, it was
In
the Torah, it says the Jews shouldn't do witchcraft. It doesn't say anywhere that the Gentiles cannot do witchcraft. Yeah. By the way, there's a lot of things. If you read the difference between the obligations of a Jew versus people that are not Jewish, is actually, there's a lot of interesting differences there, right? As a matter of fact, a Gentile is allowed to do witchcraft. They're also allowed to bring sacrifices. As a matter of fact, the Rambam says that if a non-Jew comes to a Jew and says, I want you to help me do a sacrifice according to God's plan in the Torah, we should sit down with them and say, okay, this is what you do. You can't actually help them. You can't do anything, because a Jew is not allowed to bring a sacrifice outside of the temple in Jerusalem. So we cannot help them. We cannot, bring the cows, slaughter the cow or a sheep or whatever it is. We can't do any of the sacrifice, but we can tell them what to do. If they come to us and they say like, hey, we want to do a sacrifice, we say, okay, well, if you want to do a sacrifice, this is what you got to do. We can teach them how to do it. We can even supervise and tell them, okay, this is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. But we can't actually do it. We have to stand there and, hands behind their back, let them do everything. Yeah, but that would be interesting if we can. Well, I don't know if we should be convincing a Gentile to do it, but what's if a Gentile what's if we can backhandedly, if we won't tell them, but we'll kind of hint to them that if they come to us, then we'll let them do it. And then we can witness a proper sacrifice according to biblical.
There's many forms of sacrifice. Most of it's kind of
Huh?
some people sacrifice the future of their children
What?
for their own narcissism these days.
Sheesh.
In a way, that's kind
Oh,
of a
yeah.
demonic sacrifice. Actually, it's a terrible
That's
thing.
demonic. But I'm saying maybe we should do a biblical style animal sacrifices. Why not? It'd be a nice, interesting ritual to watch. Good. Hey, baby. Let's get back to the witches. All right. Witchcraft. The witchcraft, you got to be careful because they can attack in pairs even past the number 2. All right. Let's continue. Now we're going to tell you a story. The Talmud is going to tell you a story of a witch. All right. Kiha, like this Tahu Gabra of that person. We don't mention his name, but there was a person, the Garsha Lidabisu. He divorced his wife. And trust me, these women are vicious. When you divorce a woman, they're vicious. That's what I do. I'm a rabbinic attorney dealing with family law in Israel. So, people that get divorced, they come to me, and I've seen it firsthand. Don't mess with a woman that you're trying to divorce. All you got to do is put on big earphones. That's if you want to put on big earphones and just say, that's all you got to do. Just put on the earphones. Don't listen to anything. That's the way to do it. But yes, there was a man. Here's the story. The story goes like this. This man divorced his wife. Ozal Insaval Chanua. She went and she married somebody else called Chanua. She's like, I'm married to this other guy. But you think that was good enough? You think a woman's just going to forgive you just because you divorced her so she found another man? Forget about it. She still hated this guy. She was so angry at this guy that divorced her. She was so angry at him. And so listen what she did. Yeah. Kol yoim hava ozil v'shosi chamra. Every day, this first husband of hers would drink beer, drink wine. Hava ka'ov the lake shofim, and this woman was trying to do witchcraft on her ex-husband. She was so angry at him. She wanted to do witchcraft on her husband. And none of her witchcraft worked. It was all garbage. Every time she's doing these witchcraft, she's working so hard to do this witchcraft, nothing happens to her husband. You know why? No, she was actually a good witch. Or not, she was a bad person, but she was good at being a witch, right? But her witchcraft was accurate witchcraft. The problem that she had was her husband was extremely particular that whenever he would drink wine, he would always end his drinking on an odd number and never on an even number. Yeah. She would do witchcraft on him, and it would not help her. Because he was so careful about pairs. He was extremely careful not to drink in pairs. Again, not to drink 2 cups, 4 cups, 8 cups. He was always drinking 3, 5, 7, etc. One day, Ashte Tuva, he drank more. He drank more wine than he usually drinks. He didn't know how much he drank. He drank so much wine, he was like, he was drunk. He was smashed. Ad Shitzar Habitzayu. Up until the number 16, he counted. He was counting 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, 4 cups, 5 cups. Okay, 6 cups. He got up to 16. He was like, give me another one. Right? So up to the number 16, he counted. He was really careful not to drink. He made sure that now that he drank 16, he made sure to drink 17. And after the number 16, he lost count. He was not careful. He stopped at an odd number, at an even number, sorry. He stopped on an even number. We don't know what number. He didn't know what number. We don't know what number, but he stopped on an even number. Yeah. Uh-oh. His wife is doing witchcraft, and his only defense was the fact that he was not doing pairs. Now, all of a sudden, he did pairs. Uh-oh. Here comes his wife's witchcraft. Kiava Ozil, he was going on the way. He was traveling. Gaspeahu Tayo. This Arab saw him in the middle of the way, and he kind of felt something. He sensed something, right? He sensed something with this guy. If there's any Arabs out there, tell me if you ever have these senses, that you sense a demonic energy on a person, right? I don't know, maybe these Arabs could do it, but I don't know why. It's mentioning that it was an Arab guy. An Arab guy saw something with this individual. Omar Lay, he said to this person, Gavro Katilahu, this person is a dead man. This is a dead man. In other words, he saw the guy, and somehow he was able to tell that there was some force that possessed this man, and now he said this guy's a dead man. When he heard the Arabs say this, he's like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? So he hugged a palm tree, a date palm, right? He hugged the date palm. Why did he hug the date palm?
So he wouldn't fall. Maybe he started feeling woozy.
Huh?
Maybe he started.
It's a good question. I actually looked yesterday. I tried to find why did he do this. I'm not sure.
He was like falling. He was tripping.
We have Yudel. Yudel is on kick. What's he doing on kick? He's supposed to be learning over here. This guy's named Yudel.
Can I ask a question?
Huh? Then why does it say Yudel over here? This guy Udel, Yudel, U-D.
Could be a synchronistic. Could be a synchronistic.
He's asking me if I'm Jewish. Do I look Jewish? Do I look Jewish?
Why you wear with
Huh?
his finger?
What?
Can I ask a question? It's more important.
Why
than
you rear with this finger?
This guy's
Oh, I see.
question.
He's asking why you were reading with your middle finger on the Gamara.
I was not.
On your left hand.
Well, I have two fingers. Anyways.
What's with all due respect to the Holy Gamara?
Yeah.
What's the point?
What?
What is the point
That's a good question.
of everything?
What is the point of speaking about all these demonic energies and the witchcraft when we're trying to understand what to do on Passover?
I feel like I should skip
What's
this.
going on?
I'm learning it. I'm like, okay, I don't really feel like I'm learning Gemara here. I feel like I'm reading like old wives' tales.
So you know
Well, we're
what?
learning about
You know
Jewish history and tradition
what
that you are
the
taking
lesson
from
for you
I
is?
wanna hear from you.
You know what the lesson for you is? You want to hear a lesson from him?
No.
Want to hear the lesson from me? Lesson from you is that if you learn this, then all the rest of the Gemara you learn has value. Otherwise, it's valueless. Because if you learn because you think that it's good learning, that means you're missing the whole point. Missing the whole point. The point that we're learning is to understand the godly material that's over here. Now, it's a good question. What is it doing here? Okay, so let's try to figure it out. We can try to figure it out. We can try to philosophize, figure out why the Gemara is teaching what it's trying to teach us. But on the contrary, the very fact that we don't know why it's trying to teach us, that's why we should focus on this more, because we need to figure it out. The Gemara that we just read and we're like, okay, we know what you're talking about. Okay, so go further on. You know what he's talking about. Go further on. You know why the Gemara is teaching it to you. Go further on. This is one Gemara that we don't know what's trying to teach us. So let's try to figure it out. Don't run away from it. You want to run away from your problems the whole life. That's the type of person you want to be. Or you want to see a problem and a challenge and make a solution and build something big out of it.
So you're saying that this is, like when you take college courses, there's
Yeah.
always, like prerequisite, like these courses that you're required to take that are the worst, like computer, like Microsoft Excel.
Yeah.
So this is like the Microsoft Excel.
No. And I'll tell you why not. Mendel.
Okay, so
You want to hear why not? I'll tell you why not.
you talk
Because
about
the academic world is essentially an industry that's more interested in taking your money than it is about giving you information. Now, the more information it claims to be giving you, the more it could charge you. Now, the fact that you come to college and you want to go to, when you go to college, you're like, listen, what I want to go to college for? I want to get a degree so I can go, make some money, right? Really, the information that you need to know, you could probably learn in 2-3 months and done. The problem is, if you would learn it in 2-3 months, you would wonder, why am I paying the guy $100,000 if I'm going to learn for 3 months? Why should I pay him $100,000? So what does he do? So he says, okay, it's going to take you 4 years to do what you really could do in 3 months, right? And it dumps into you a bunch of garbage that you don't need to know and forces you to learn it so that you think that they actually earned the money that they took from you. And that's that. So that's why it's very different, right? This guy's laughing. He's like, Rabbi, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
I mean, the only difference is the Gamara.
Even a doctor, by the way, the doctors today, probably they could learn everything that they, in a quarter of the time they could learn it. Right? If they actually made, say, government tests, let's say for every license, doctors, lawyers, and everything, if they made a government test that anybody that wants could rock up to that test and take the test, and if you pass, you get the license. If they did that, I guarantee you that there's going to be companies coming out that are going to teach you how to get a law degree in like 6 months, how to get a BA in 3 months or less, right? As a matter of fact, there's high school, so GED. You ever heard of GED? General equivalency diplomas. You know what GED? It's not a scam. It's the opposite. The high school's the scam. The GED is not the scam, right? The GED is you go over there, right? The GED is basically you go to a place and all they do is test you. They don't teach you nothing. They just give you a test, right? And then they have companies that'll teach you how to learn the whole high school GED in 3 months. And then you pass the test and then you get your GED. What does that tell you about high school? That you just wasted 4 years. You could have just learned it in 3 months. You could have done it. People ask me always, I went to a yeshiva many years ago, and they didn't teach any secular studies. Only Teda, right? Only Teda Chai, right? Over there, they didn't teach any studies. I actually left when I was in 3rd grade. I went to Lubavitch Yeshiva. In Lubavitch Yeshiva, they actually did teach some secular studies a little bit, right? And I can tell you that in my experience, the guys that left Oli Torah were more successful than the guys that went to Lubavitch Yeshiva that actually taught some form of secular studies. Right? And you tell me, well, how do they do? Some of these guys are doctors, lawyers. What do? They finish. They learned Torah till like 20 years old. They learned. They were smart because they learned the Talmud, etc. Right? And then they go into the secular world. They're like, okay, I need to make money, and they're like, okay, I want to be a lawyer. And they're like, yeah, but a lawyer needs a high school diploma. You don't have a high school diploma. I said, fine. 3 months later, they have a high school diploma, right? They say, oh, well, in order to get into law school, you need a college diploma. So they go back to the yeshiva that they were in. The yeshiva gives them a BA in Talmudic studies, right? And they come and they go straight to. I know guys that did this. They go straight to law school. 3 years. They pass the bar. They work hard. They pass the bar. Boom, they're a lawyer. I know guys like this, right? Yeah. So, what's that? Yeah, Oli Torah, Lubavitch Yeshiva, Morristown does this a lot. They'll give people a bachelor's degree of Talmudic studies or rabbinical studies. They have different terminologies, and not every industry accepts it, especially medical, because they want to see. To get into medical school, you can't just have a BA. They don't accept a lot of BAs. You have to have a BA that has specific pre-med courses, right? So medical school is a little harder, but some industries, especially law, they're like, why? Because they're taking the guys from yeshiva and like, listen, these guys understand the philosophy behind law because they learned Gamara. They understand it better than the guys coming out of college, right? They learned Gamara for 4 years. They know way better than the guys coming out of college how to deal with law. So most law schools today, if you have a BA in Talmudic studies, they're like, good, we'll take you. There's zero.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got into that, but what was he saying? Oh, he asked me what's the difference? What's the difference? Is Gamara just trying to throw at you stam information? No, the Talmud, if it's telling you this information, it's important. How is it important? I don't necessarily know, right? I didn't write the Talmud, but the people that wrote the Talmud thought that this was important information that you should know, right? Good. Anyways, we were finishing off the story with this person who his ex-wife decided to do witchcraft on him, to attack him. And that one time where he drank in pairs and he walked out. Again, remember, he walked out because in his house, maybe they couldn't attack him. But once he was on the road, they could attack him. And the spiritual witchcraft attack, right? Now it went on him, and this Arab, he saw that this guy had some spiritual element about to attack and kill him. And he said, this man is a dead man walking. And then the guy grabs a palm tree, and it says, Savach diklo upokahu. He says the palm tree dried out. It kind of like the palm tree died. It kind of became dried out, and he popped. What does it mean he popped? I don't know, but that's what it says he did. He popped.
What?
He popped.
Like exploded?
He popped. That's what it says. He popped. Poka, he burst, he popped, yeah. I don't know what it means he burped, but popped or yeah, but he popped.
So he died?
Apparently, if you pop, you usually don't live after that. Right? You ever see a guy pop walking around? Huh?
Like a zit?
I don't know, he popped. That's what it says, he popped.
Like that.
That's what it says here. Yeah.
What's the word?
Poka.
Polka.
Poka. Yeah. Bursted, he popped, yeah. Burst, popped, it's the same thing, yeah. He popped. All right, gotta be careful.
Why don't we see things like that now?
Oh, like you popped an artery?
Huh?
Why don't people pop now?
We pop arteries.
You never saw anybody pop?
I think so.
Good for you. Stay away from those people. You don't want to get involved with the people that pop.
No, I'm just saying, everything is worse. It's a lot more exaggerated.
So, first of all, you have to understand that in the time of the Talmud, witchcraft was a lot more, I would say, practiced than today. Today, although I've heard of people claims that there were witches that did certain things on people, it's definitely not a very popular thing that a lot of people are doing, right? Not everybody even knows how to do this.
Well, a lot of
witchcraft.
people
Very
say
few
they're
people know.
witches, but they're not witches.
Yeah, it could be.
You know, there's a lot of that.
Witchcraft makes you ugly.
How do you know?
You see the movies.
Huh? Oh, because of movies.
Stuff like that, teach you psychology.
Well, if it's such an opera.
Yeah, that's it. You think that witch could.
I met a guy who was a drunk, and
He-
he had like a big giant, like a mark on his nose.
Yeah.
Drinking too much.
How do you get a mark on your nose from drinking? I don't know.
Drinking, the body, on the spot, and tell you you're doing something that's unhealthy.
Oh, so you got a big pimple?
It's like a big giant black ring on his nose.
But how do you know it's because of drinking?
Because I was in a
Probably is related.
Huh?
I was detoxing.
Yeah, but how do you know that it came because of drinking? I know he was drunk, but maybe he was drunk and just happened to have it from some other reason. Why are you saying that?
No, the alcohol was probably
Blood
involved.
vessels in your nose somehow like pop or expand or something like that.
Yeah.
So like someone who drinks a lot, like you'll see like blood vessels all over their nose. So
Yeah.
it's possible that you got like some kind of mark because of like excess drinking.
All right. Anyways, I don't know what that has to do with anything in the Gemara, but let's continue. So should we go on to the next thing, or are you scared already? Huh?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think we're getting towards the end. So I don't know if today's Tuesday. Today's only Monday.
Yeah.
No, so we have to leave some for tomorrow. We'll leave some for
We'll
tomorrow.
talk about-
We have to speak about spooky stuff because for some reason, when we have to speak about spooky stuff, the people online are really excited. They come and they listen to all the demonic concepts of the Talmud. I hope they also come when we speak about the other parts of the Talmud, not just the demonic spooky stuff, right? And then if you want to know, by the way, if you want to know how to be part of the Talmud class and come on a regular basis, I'm going to put up right now, we have a QR code, all right? I just put it on the screen. And if you click the QR code, you could join a WhatsApp group that keeps you in touch with our class. Have we been updating it lately? No, we need to basically every day we should. I don't know. I forget sometimes too. But if you're there, you could definitely stay in touch with us, and we'll be happy to have you in our class on a regular basis. We still have a little bit of demonic, spooky stuff to speak about, which we will do a little bit tomorrow on Tuesday. We'll do a little bit on Wednesday. In the meantime, if you notice, by the way, on this page, there is no Tosfos. It's just there's Rash Bam on one side and Rashi on the other. That's because very often Tosfos, when we're talking about these, Tosfos likes speaking when there's some type of a Talmudic discussion. Here, it's kind of like just giving you information. It's not too much of a halachic concept. It's not so much of a back and forth. And since it's not so much of a back and forth, Tosfos usually doesn't comment on these things. Not so much. All right? As you can see here. However, it's good reading, and I think it would be definitely helpful for you to read it inside in the original text, and to bring Mashiach while you're at it. And if you join the group in the next 10 minutes, in about 10 minutes, I will put up the sheets, the Hebrew or the Aramaic sheets on this WhatsApp group, and then you can see it and you can deal with it, etc. If anybody has any questions on the topic, not some random question like some people have, every once in a while I answer them. But yeah, if you have a question on topic, I generally will answer it. And if it's not on topic, it depends on my mood. That's it. All right. Is that good, bad, or in the middle? It's pretty good. He likes that idea. All right. Anyone else? Any questions, comments, suggestions? Yeah. Good. Watch out from pears, especially with eggs. What was the other one? Eggs, nuts, and squash. And something else, but something else we don't know. So I guess it could be anything. So I guess you don't have to be too crazy about it. Yeah, that's that. All right. First of all, it says in the Gamara, we just learned in the Gemara that halacha l'Moshe Sinai, which means it came all the way from the time of Sinai. So I would assume if it's something halacha l'Moshe Sinai, we should be careful.
So, Rabbi, how are there some things that are not just okay, they're actually good, like push a button, right? Like 2 candles.
Good question.
So
It could be anything that has 2 that the rabbis established. They were assuming that is not one of the concepts. By the way, it's very interesting because we see over here, we see that this guy was attacked from drinking pairs of cups of wine. So you might argue that that's an indication that wine is that other thing. Because if wine's not that other thing, that means there's more that have zugos, not just those 4. Huh? What about him?
Yeah, the twins are 2
I don't know, it could be.
There's evidence in the Torah.
That what?
The twin situation
That's
that
like
occurred in the Torah. There's
Yeah, we had some issues with the twins in the Torah. We had who's the famous twins in the Torah? You have well, you could say Cain and Abel, but Cain and Abel not necessarily were twins. No, not necessarily. No, they were brothers, not necessarily were they twins. It doesn't. I don't remember offhand anywhere where it mentions that they were twins. The people that were mentioned that were twins were Yaakov and Esau, Jacob and Esau. Who else? Who else was twins? Peretz, right? There was a Peretz and Zerach, which was was Judah's, right? Judah's children with Tamar, yeah.
A bunch of Joseph's children had twins. They had female twins.
Okay, so we say again, it's not directly in the scripture, but there are commentators that say that there was a twin born with each one of the tribes, which means each one of the tribes is born as a male and female twin.
This is so wild. That's so wild.
Right?
But we don't really know if that led to a problematic situation or not. In terms
Right,
of demonic
right.
influence.
Well, I guess two brothers, twins, forget about it. Huh? What's that? Chat GPT says that they're the only 2. Only twins mentioned in the. Again, it doesn't say that they're twins. It doesn't say that Cain and Abel were twins. They were brothers, not necessarily twins. Yeah. Anyone else? Last chance. Anybody online want to ask a question? Quickly, we give you about 10 seconds, and then we will shut it down. All right? Good. 10, 9. We can't shut it at 10:09. You have to give it a little extra time because it's there's a time delay. How long is the time delay on this thing? There is a time delay.
5 seconds, 6, 7 seconds.
We'll have to give them 10 seconds plus the 5 or 7 seconds, just in case they want to ask a question. If they don't, we're gonna done, and we'll hopefully see you next time Bezrat Hashem, Mashiach now.
Sure, now.
Yeah? Oh.